The day has finally come. We have prayed for days like this. On the surface level, we finally saw Valve do something with the armory that has been laying stagnant for 6 months. When looking at the ripple effect of these changes, we are about to see a real interesting time in the skin world. Many theories were made, but we finally have an answer, while also creating some new questions. We have received another limited item, and although it isn't exactly an attractive item, it's cool to see that they have a plan. The heat treated was our first limited time item, and it functioned a lot like a case hardened. The patterns are based on the percentage of blue, and the highest quantity of blue in the most desirable positions are the highest value. We saw many of these deagles redeemed, and overall it was a wildly successful item. Now the XM is no deagle, and the various patterns won't garner the same attention as a case hardened copy. But Valve have introduced another item with extreme variance. The uniqueness of each specific item is really the biggest aspect of the Counter-Strike market, and that's what keeps the wheels turning. If float values didn't exist and patterns didn't exist, the market we know today also wouldn't exist. By throwing another pattern-based item in the limited time slot, it seems like Valve understands that prices would tank hard and no one would care if it was just a regular skin. It's starting to look like some of our most unique items going forward will be found in the armory. It will be exciting to see what they add in the next few months, as I personally have no desire to own one of these. Another question answered is the way Valve will handle the actual armory collections. Yes, the armory will be sticking around. No, the whole shop will not remain constant like the poor Anubis package that seems to be eternal. Valve have introduced the 2025 Train Collection. Everyone will have their objective opinions, but I think some items to look out for are the M4A4 Hellish, which does have some similarities to the Hellfire, but with a much more vibrant color scheme. The Tech 9 Whiteout, which also has a float cap like other whiteout skins. People will hunt the lowest float skins with the best patterns to reduce wear in visible areas. Whiteout skins are clean for crafting and some pretty cool collector items, even if it could exist in the armory for a long time. And last but definitely least, the Galil Green Apple, which will be a really nice budget skin. The way these new model skins wear, you don't need a low float to get a really clean skin, which is always appreciated. The Latte Rush deserves a shout out due to the glitter effect on the mag and text, but a little voice in my head tells me that some significant gameplay changes will be made post-major, and I worry about the MP9 usage going forward. Regardless, a very nice skin, unlike the Covert Op Long Dog. Look, it might not be horrible, and the color palette creates an opportunity for some good crafts, as you can see with these screenshots that I ripped from Avengers Twitter. But this is more comparable to a blue or purple op in my opinion, not a red. Although it is an op, I wouldn't be surprised if it becomes one of the cheapest coverts within the armory in due time. I also have to give a shout out to the new Fever case, which first of all, I have to say the op print stream is amazing. I was worried when I saw the print stream that it would be like the M4A1 in CS2, with barely any effects compared to CSGO and a somewhat muddy look. It still isn't as clean or vibrant as a CSGO print stream, but the sheer size of it really helps that neutered effect in CS2. Honestly, it's going to be one of the best ops in the game. There's some other cool items in here, but the big story as of right now is the knives. We have Shattered Web knives, but in chroma finishes. If that doesn't mean anything to you, just know that skeleton knife rubies, sapphires, and black pearls now exist. And by exist, I mean they flooded the market because the case was broken upon release. Something is wrong here, and Valve probably should fix it. Either way, we get a pretty cool set of knives coming. And that also means that Fracture and Shattered Web knives have been retired. And on that note, my prayers were not answered. The Fracture case is still dropping in-game. Except there's a little twist this time. None of the other active drops were removed either. Will these drops exist in-game forever? Will all the cases come from the armory, and after they add one or two more, all active drops will be discontinued with no new additions? We have no idea at this time. It's a strange situation, and we will not have an answer until the next content update. I just want my Fracture cases removed, man. How hard can it be? And last, but definitely not least, as I think it might be the biggest change with the most opportunity, would be the changes to active skin drops. When I first read the patch notes, I thought I was misunderstanding. Honestly, the skins just looked too good to drop in game. We are used to colonies and blue spruces and mudders. They just look too good to be a random weekly drop, but that's exactly what they are. Not to mention, they aren't tied to any kind of map just like every collection before it. These are going to be some very popular skins. The thought that you will be able to obtain many of these items just by playing the game and doing trade-ups is insane to me. They look amazing, and they will be integral to any budget loadout going forward. And to shake things up even more, Valve didn't just add a goated collection of these skins, they also removed some of the older collections. Now this is going to get weird. There's millions of these skins, with collections that have dropped for over a decade. Supply is insane, but supply is now finite. You will never see an Op Safari Mesh drop ever again. Now I'm not about to tell you to invest in these items that have supply numbers in the millions, and for the lower tier items, the tens of millions. But I did, so take that as you will. There's some very commonplace skins in these collections that people will seek out when looking for cheap items. Another thing to consider is trade-ups. These cheap items were used as trade-up fuel in Operation Trade-ups as a way to increase your odds of getting the item you wanted, but also to create a profit margin due to their dirt cheap prices if you hit. Specifically, these collections were useful due to their solo purple or pink items. With these old collections discontinued, the only way to swing odds in your favor would be Dust 2 with a single purple and a single pink outcome, or the Safe House collection with a single purple outcome. Is something like the Lake collection going to get burned through until it gets too expensive? Will the Dust 2 and Safe House collection rise in value as people flood to use these skins instead? Time will tell, and we will not have to wait long. With the new armory items that people will be spamming trade-ups on, we will have an idea on how this affected the whole trade-up side of things very soon. It's honestly one of the most interesting changes we have had in a long time, and I'm interested on how it will play out. Outside of the Inferno and Train changes, there's nothing significant that Valve introduced in the patch notes, but as per usual, Valve have made changes that aren't detailed. And with that, people have complained about the lack of gameplay adjustments, but as a community, we will likely find various aspects over the coming weeks that were never communicated. As for the items, I would like to go over some of them in more detail, but more information is needed before any true breakdown can be taken seriously. As of now, this is what we know, and I'm excited to see what we will learn in the near future.